The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People say the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does now come Rex. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to those in television land. Happy Friday to all our silent supporters. Happy Friday to those in the chat. Hope everyone had a wonderful and productive week, and looking forward to the start of some rest on the weekend. Today's topic is Shameless with your host, Mystic Sensation. And I'm not sure if we're going to be joined by Melting Pot today, but nevertheless, we'll continue. But he should be on later on if he doesn't join this afternoon. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. And for those who weren't tuned in yesterday, I just want to say a heartfelt thank you for all the well wishes that you all sent out, and also for the prayers that were sent out. Just taking it day by day and getting stronger day by day. So God is good all the time. God is good
all the time.
Right. So let me just welcome everyone in the chat. Carla Ebanks, Beverly, RJ, Lavina Miles, Sandra Plunkett, Patel Cruikshank, Rosa, Lorraine Taylor, Angela Cole, Durant Clark, Althea Blackwood, Lyndell McCormack, Al-Kebelan, HVAC Services, Leighton Brown, Minty Rue, Elaine Turner, Madge, Barbara Finley, Lady Bug, welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Without any delay, let me just hand over to Baron to start the discussion.
All right. Thank you.
Bennett, welcome.
Thank you, honey, for that usual wonderful precursor. First, let me begin by saying, you know, again, I am very much happy to be here, right, speaking to my brothers and sisters, right, and making sure that, you know, the information that we are processing, right, is one that based on facts, nothing else. Now, let me just say this as it relates to what we are dealing with in terms of good governance in Jamaica. Leadership is lacking, And when we said leadership is lacking, right, I mean it is grossly lacking in Jamaica. We have seen what I would describe as a criminal syndicate that took over our government. And of course, that extended arm of criminality reached to the very core of the pinnacle of leadership. And where I'm talking as it relates to the governor general, right? By his action that he had taken in terms of delaying the process of, making sure that we are dealing with justice accordingly in terms of the 3 critical vacancies that left unfilled, right, within the Integrity Commission organization, right? It's a sad day, to say the least, right, in terms of our Governor General has no explanation, right, as to why he had made such decision. And obviously, right, that appears to be that the Governor General is taking side with the politics. And not only just taking side with the politics, is defending criminality. Clear and simple, right, by not doing so. But I want to remind Andrew Holness and his minion as it relates to leadership and how important leadership is. And that has to be trust with honesty and integrity. And obviously, without any hesitation, Sir Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, you are not a honest person. Okay, Melting Pot is here, right? Let us squeeze in Melting Pot, right? Blessings, Melting Pot.
Sir.
No, yes, Mr. Prime Minister, right? Without, as I said, right, I'm not going to hesitate in saying that you're a very dishonest person, right? You are just not a honest person. And as it relates to your attributes, right, you're very dishonest. And we have to call you out for what it is. Without any delay, let me just have Melting Pot meet and greet his wonderful brothers and sisters as well before we begin the people's business we are addressing. All right, Melting Pot.
Pleasant good afternoon to everyone tuning in this afternoon to the Mystic Sensation Live. Yeah, along with I, Melting Pot, your host, Byron, technical director, Lady Anne Marie, and to everyone tuning in, we like to have you in the space to give us the energy so we can, feel in the element of the situation. So without any further ado, and you're back to the host.
All right, nice, Melting Pot. Whenever you have Melting Pot and Mystic Sensation, we are going to deliver what the people expected of us, right? And we are fighting tooth and nail for our people because I know that Melting Pot, along with myself and my wife, we love our Jamaican brothers and sisters. And we are here to defend them, even if it costs our lives in terms of defending our people. We are going to defend our people. Now, let us share something with my Jamaican brothers and sisters as it relates to, leadership and the quality of that leadership, right? And when you are in office, right, and you take the oath of office in terms of protecting the Jamaican people, one of Andrew Warner's first core of responsibility, he is the protecting chief of the country. Simple means that he has the responsibility. He commands the chief of justice. He has the responsibility to protect the citizenry. And in so doing, he's doing to the contrary, not protecting us, but exposing us to danger. So let us get into the first clip, right? And let us listen to what is out there, right? in terms of this message from Ibrahim Traore, right? Let us get into that and let us play that.
In the sovereign affairs of another nation under the guise of moral crusade. Every nation must consider the consequences of its choices.
The people of Jamaica, I speak today not as a man under threat, nor as a leader seeking applause. I speak as a son of Africa, who has watched too many of Jamaicans across the seas being spoken for, ruled for, and now spoken against in the language of fear and misunderstanding. A few days ago, a message was broadcast from Kingston, Jamaica, a speech by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in which my name and the name of Burkina Faso were mentioned with suspicion and warning. The words were carefully chosen, calm on the surface, but sharp beneath. And yet, I understood them. Because when a man speaks with measured calm while defending a broken system, it is not peace that speaks through him, it is fear. Let me first make something clear. I did not speak to Jamaica to interfere in its politics. I spoke to Jamaica because history has already tied us together. The chains that left Africa centuries ago did not dissolve in the Atlantic. They stretched, and they anchored themselves in the Caribbean. My words were not weapons, they were mirrors. I did not speak to overthrow a government. I spoke to awaken a people. If that has caused discomfort, then perhaps it is not my voice that disturbs, but the echo of truth that follows it. For centuries, Africa has been told to remain silent, to watch quietly while the sons and daughters stolen from her were taught to see their motherland as distant, dark, and defeated. And when, at last, Africa speaks not through guns or coercion, but through love and remembrance, we are told, again, to be silent. Prime Minister Holness said I was meddling in Jamaican affairs. But I ask you, when a man reminds another of his roots, is that interference? When a son calls to a brother who has been separated for 400 years, is that political manipulation? I say no. That is not politics. That is memory. That is blood speaking to blood. I must defend not only my government, but the dignity of my people. Burkina Faso does not seek conflict with Jamaica, nor with any Caribbean nation. We are fighting our own war, not against nations, but against the lingering ghosts of colonial control. We are fighting for the right to think freely, to govern without permission, to live without begging. When I spoke to the Caribbean, I spoke as a leader who has seen what independence truly costs. It costs misunderstanding. It costs isolation. It costs the anger of those who benefit from your obedience. I understand that burden, and I do not fault Andrew Holness for his words, because in truth, he does not speak entirely for himself. Many leaders do not. They speak the language of those who feed them. It is not a crime to be afraid of losing power, but it is dangerous to trade dignity for it. The true enemy is not Ibrahim Traore, nor Burkina Faso, nor any African nation seeking its freedom. The true enemy is the invisible hand that still guides too many governments, the institutions that lend money with one hand and take sovereignty with the other. Prime Minister Holness warned against foreign influence.
Now take it away. Now, let me say this to my Jamaican people. Obviously, as it relates to Andrew Holness, as a leader, sir, you can choose to fight with your people and bring about a better nation and to eliminate corruption and move a nation forward as it relates to nation building. Now, when I look and saw what Ibrahim Traore had done in 3 years and had achieved in 3 years, it's a success to Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore as a leader, eliminating corruption and fighting for the betterment of his people, to bring his country forward. But when I look on you, Andrew Holness, I've seen you been there for 9 years, planning how to enrich yourself on the backs of poor people. We have seen that you take steps away from doing the common basic in signing a code of conduct, agreeing to act ethically and morally. But you think it's a game, and you think it's political savvy for you not to sign the code of conduct because you already prepared that you're going to act a particular way. And you don't want, as a result of you signing that code of conduct, to come and haunt you. We know your political trickery. But is that good governance? Is that good governance? Or is that looking out for yourself and your family and your friends and those are eating out of the trough? Today I am here. I am so disappointed with my Prime Minister. Someone who the people did not ask to lead. Someone who take up on himself to venture into our politics and promise to lead with honor and dignity. But what he had done, he had lied to us. He had tricked us, deceiving and conniving. And now, a prime minister had achieved on the backs of the people, becoming a billionaire that himself cannot explain his wealth. Jamaica, we have a problem. And I presume that Melting Pot want to speak on it before we move. Melting Pot, what say you on this matter?
But as the subject matter relates to leadership, Andrew don't possess that, because as you rightfully said, the people did not ask him. He chose to be a political representative first and foremost. He fight to become the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party so he could be the Prime Minister for Jamaica. But what Andrew Wallace has done, is trade dignity for power, as Ibrahim Traore rightfully remarked in his statement. And so we know that Andrew will do anything to sell Jamaica down the gutter in order to enhance his profile and his lifestyle. Because based on what we know Andrew Holness involved in, he is now becoming a bargaining tool and a bargaining chip for the United States of America. And so that just take away from his leadership quality, because theoretically speaking, he can't lead the way he would want to lead because his hands is tied by the United States based on his corruption and all the various things that he involved in. So trading Jamaican people dignity just to retain power for his own, lifestyle, because we know Andrew like to be the poster boy for Jamaica as it relates to politics. Yeah, you see how far him go in actually defeating democracy by carrying out a stage coup. And so we know that Andrew Wallace remnants is only to be in charge, but not to lead from the front. Too many allegations as it relates to corruption, and also take into fact and consideration the non-performance of his cabinet members who also dibble and dabble into corruption. And so we find that Jamaica is now lagging beside or probably behind Haiti in the region, where Jamaica was, positioned in world affairs by our great Prime Minister, Sir Michael Manley. And where it is today is a far cry. Because Sir Michael Manley was not just the leader for the People's National Party and the Prime Minister for Jamaica. Sir Michael Manley was an international statesman that command respect wherever he goes. But in Andrew Holness and previous Jamaica Labour Party Prime Minister like Edward Seaga and Bruce Golding, we find that leadership quality is non-existent. They run the place like it's a marketplace. You know, they actually coincide in carrying out widespread corruption that has hurt the entire Jamaican citizen. Based on what we know in terms of how this Jamaica Labour Party administration like to borrow and who they borrow from, we know that come with austerity measures. And so we are seeing the result of what corruption truly bring to a nation. We are seeing many people being displaced from their home. We are hearing of many people having mental breakdown issues. And we are seeing crime spiraling to the extent where we have now 4 first world countries who is letting their citizens know that Jamaica is an high-risk zone when it comes to crime. And also health issues as well. So the situation now is that Jamaica need a change. Jamaica need a change like what Burkina Faso, have in Ibrahim Traore. A man who can, and choose himself and his cabinet member to work for the people of his country. Where Andrew Wallace is concerned, Andrew Wallace is not motivated to work for the people of Jamaica and to build Jamaica. Andrew Wallace is motivated by greed and corruption to enrich himself to the status of super billionaire in CARICOM. Because just look at the various corruption scheme that Andrew Holness as a prime minister involved in. Ponzi scheme, not 1, not 2, but 3 massive Ponzi scheme. And we would ask the question, why would a prime minister, find himself in something like, those type of activities? But it's just down to greed. Andrew didn't have to get involved in any other Ponzi scheme. To the extent where we are discovering that Andrew was, at the pinnacle. You could bracket him in CEO category, Chief Executive Officer. Andrew wasn't just a contributor. You understand? So when we look at Andrew Holness, we are seeing a man that has a destructive plan for the nation that he represents, right? And so we come in the space and we, give our time and our knowledge to enlighten and to educate our people back home in Jamaica as to what good politics is all about. Good politics is something that can enhance everyone's life.
Exactly.
But bad politics is something that will destroy everyone's life. I will ask yourself the question, as it relates to Andrew Holness being the Prime Minister, are we seeing good governorship from him or bad governorship or dictatorship? We ask the question. No, I can eliminate the word good governorship, but I can attribute bad governorship and dictatorship to this guy. Because this guy going to some region, and like him go educate himself and come back at Jamaica. And like him utilize all the strategy when pick up at Israel. That is very challenging to our society. Our people have not been exposed to this type of leadership. Never in the history of Jamaica, where our kids are subjected to be in prison for a tie gun. Where our taxi operator, is been told to put car seat and take kids up to the age of 12 in those car seats. We have seen some very, damaging laws that this guy rolled out in our society. Yeah. Something where Andrew put into law wasn't necessary. Right? Andrew had better things to do with himself and whoever him use to pass these legislation into law. Yeah. They could have looked at crime and tried to reduce crime so that the country couldn't be suffering level 4 travel advisory for crime. They should be looking at the health sector, which will, give the people hope and aspiration to have good health and lifestyle in the country so them can work and live long. But what we say, Andrew, do, is just go after the people's penny. Yeah, just go after the people dollars and cents. Yeah, if go after all of the US too. Andrew rip every currency will come at Jamaica. Yeah, from Europe. Can remember, people, a lot of euro come in the pandemic, and I know the people them don't get it. A lot of pound come, them don't get. US come, them not get. Canadian come, them not get. Yeah. I yield back the floor, Mystic.
All right. Thank you for that.
I come in. I go take a call and come back.
All right. Thank you for that, Melting Pot. Okay. On the issue of good governance, right? And to show that Mark Golden is setting the better example, right? Because Mark Golden knows what it requires of him or any persons who put at the helm of our politics, that there are certain attributes that that person need to bear. And so then while we see, right, on several occasions that Mark Golden exhibited good and measurable leadership, likewise in this scenario that I'm going to present, in terms of Mark Golden taking the lead on this, and Andrew Holness decided not to, night and day, in telling you, right, where good governance lies. Look on the next clip, my Jamaican people. And this should put to all of us that this man, Andrew Holness, need to go, right? And he need to be put in the judiciary for what he had done. And we are here on social media. We are not going to stop from fight until we have that.
On Monday, at the meeting of the Shadow Cabinet, our spokespersons signed the Leadership Code of Conduct, a document originally developed by the Integrity Commission and embodying the 7 principles of public life. Those principles are based on the values of integrity, accountability, and transparency. I think it's very important in Jamaica today that our leaders publicly demonstrate their commitment to those values so that the people can have trust and confidence in the leaders of the country. We have once again, by signing the Leadership Code of Conduct, demonstrated our commitment to the values of integrity, accountability, and transparency in how we operate as leaders, and we commit ourselves going forward to upholding those principles in how we operate and everything that we do.
Wonderfully stated, right? Well measured. That is what leadership requires. And that's what Melting Pot said earlier, right? When you put in that capacity to lead, you are to bear the fruit of truthfulness, honesty, and integrity. Where you have a poor and bad government, it suffers the nation. But where you have good and excellent leadership quality, it brings the country forward. Jamaica, it is that plain and simple. No rocket science here. From once you decided, and let me say this to you, Jamaica, for any institution, for any labor force, who that labor force is going to employ people. That labor force is looking for particular attributes in such potential employee. And before you get the job, you have to sign off in an agreement in following the company's policy. My Jamaican people, we employed a prime minister. We, the people of Jamaica, employed a prime minister who from the onset is saying to us, I am not going to be fitting in terms of your requirement of me. The requirement is plain and simple. The history of our politics. We sign off on the code of conduct, telling you what is expected of the leadership. And here we have a leader who is saying that I don't owe you nothing. I am not going to be accountable. This is what this leader is saying. Now, Mark Golan, as it relates to the previous administration, signed off on the code of conduct. Andrew Holness and his minions refused not. Now, Andrew Holness, second administration, Mark Golan signed off. Andrew Holness still decided that no, he's not, he's bigger than that. So then what he's saying, Jamaica, whatever he dish out to you, Jamaica, you have to accept it because he did not agree to act morally and ethically. That is what the Prime Minister is saying. And the Prime Minister reinforced it by sending out a minion. Look on the minion what the Prime Minister sent out to reinforce that he's not going to sign any code of conduct. Look on the minion. Now let us play the minion that the Prime Minister sent out. Look on the Prime Minister minion reinforcing that the Prime Minister is not going to sign it. Look at this.
The leadership of the PNP in an article posted by The Observer reads, members of the opposition shadow cabinet signed the leadership code of conduct on Monday in a move to reinforce their commitment to integrity, accountability, and transparency. PNP, leadership, and everyone who signed this letter, you can talk to us about credibility. You can talk to us about transparency. You can talk to us about accountability. If you are going to speak to us about transparency, then you need to come forward and explain all these scandals that the PNP racked up during their term as government. If you are going to come and talk to us about credibility, then the leadership of the PNP needs to apologize to Dr. Holness for creating a narrative and using it as a political message that the Prime Minister had 28 bank accounts. PNP, you can come and talk to us about credibility and accountability. Apologize to our leader. Then we'll even start to think and wonder if this letter that was signed has any truth to it or it bears any standard. PNP, fix up.
Now, Jamaica. Now, let me just really laugh, because no, I don't want to really root her and disrespect her as a lady because I respect my wife very much. So I'm not even going to go down there in terms of calling her names and so what. But obviously, this is someone who is walking on her brains. And I want to ask, what sort of scandal that the People's National Party have? And I want to ask her, let me ask her, and I'm dealing with her in an intelligent way. Was it Mark Golin who working at the Integrity Commission Integrity Commission? Was it Mark Golin who conducted an investigation into Andrew Holness? I want to ask you something. Your argument based that Mark Golin is propagandize Andrew Holness on 28 account. Let me ask you again. Was it Mark Golin responsible to carry out an investigation against Andrew Holness as it relates to illicit enrichment? In terms of my memory and Melting Pot memory and all my subscribers' memory, Mark Golin as an opposition leader has at no time worked with the Integrity Commission investigators, or neither is a part of any investigation into Andrew Holness. Mark Golin has never, ever, and I am not asking you that, I am telling you this. Mark Golin has never, ever conducted any investigation into Andrew Holness as it relates to illicit enrichment. So, my young lady, you are extremely deaf. I don't know which hole you have creeped out of, but you need to go back there because you are extremely deaf. This is buffoonism. Trust me. Now, let me remind you some stuff, my lady, right? Because I saw Melting Pot coming in. I know some Melting Pot engine a warm up, you know. But I'm going to make Melting Pot engine warm up. All right. Touch the next clip. Now, let us get into and just remind this lady something. Let us remind this lady who done this investigation. This lady is sick out of her head. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. I'm going to make Andrew answer you.
In political life for more than 30 years. Yes, more than 30 years. And I have been elected in this house for 27 years. It always gives me a sense of great pride, but also a sense of humility to consider that, you know, I grew up in a 2-bedroom board house at 56 Cumberland Road, just up from the Grassyard Market in Spanish Town. I don't wear my background as a badge or try to exploit it or exploit my humble beginnings for political sympathy. I don't do it. I don't do it because I believe in working for what you have, regardless of where you come from. And Mr. Speaker, I have worked hard. You know, people just see the achievements. They don't know the hours, the nights, the hard work. They don't know. I have worked hard, wisely, and honestly to achieve whatever I have. I never had a gold spoon, and I have never depended on the public purse.
Take that away. You know, me I wonder.
Why Lido Dinga died?
Melting Pot.
Lido Dinga never died.
I wonder if Melting Pot bad mind the Prime Minister, through the Prime Minister, use 2 taxi and becomes a billionaire and Melting Pot can't do it. Meetings might bad mind the Prime Minister too, you know. Because the Prime Minister used 2 taxi and becomes a billionaire, and me can't do it. We can't find no way how that can happen. Some would like to use the Prime Minister formula. Anyway, people, let us remind that lady. I'm going to play the clip, and I'm going to ask that lady, right, if it is Mark Golding's voice leading this investigation on the clip that I'm going to play. And I'm going to ask that lady to identify the person responsible to carry out an investigation into his prime minister that he's defending. So, my lady, if you are listening to me, which I know you are listening to me, please identify, right, who are leading this investigation into your so wonderful so-called prime minister, who didn't born with a gold spoon. But that no mean say he must thief it. That no mean say he must steal it. Right? Because Mark Golding, right, and other work hard for theirs, and you can see the result. And that is simply what we are saying. We said, okay, all right. Mark Golding have this amount of money here. Make we check, make we investigate how him come by this amount of money here. And we find all the evidence of how Mark Golding come by that amount of money that he, right, had written up as it relates to his statutory declaration being certified. We look at it, right? We examine it, right? The Integrity Commission investigators and other investigators like myself examine it and realize that Mark Golding dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's in ascertaining his wealth. Now, we move to Andrew Holness. And believe you me, the first here, particularly when I look at it, bad news. Bad news, the first year, 1998, right? From $300,000, pivot him to $1 million. Show us how you get there. Show us. And so then, my sister, let me pray for you who are leading out the investigation against your boss, not Mark Golding. So please get that correct. Let us get into it, wifey. Let us show, let us beat and teach them. Let us beat and teach them. You think we are going to come and make you? Last year we make you people like you escape through the gap.
The three companies that form part of the integrity
we are going to clean you up with the I-13 or I-9. We are cleaning you up. Yes, go ahead.
The three companies that form part of the Integrity Commission's probe are Estate Bridge Development Company Limited, Imperium Investments Holdings Limited, and Positive Media Solutions Limited. All three are linked to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Now, intercompany deposits among the three companies linked to the Prime Minister totaled roughly $473.2 million. Intercompany withdrawals amounted to roughly $427.2 million. That's for the period 2020 to June 2023. The Integrity Commission said records submitted for Imperium and the explanations from Dr. Holness do not fully account for the transactions. In addition, financial statements and other documentation from Imperium do not account for the movement of over $72 million from Positive Media to Imperium. Tax Administration Jamaica indicated that Imperium filed a nil tax return for 2021 and...
So let me stop this and ask you a question, my lady. Right? If you look on the video, did it say Mark Golding says? Did it say Mark Golding says? What stated there? Eh? My lady, what stated there? Integrity Commission says the explanation given by Dr. Andrew Holness do not fully account for a transaction of $427 million linked to three companies. So who is probing? Take that away. I want to ask you a question. Who is probing? Is it Mark Golan probing, or is it the Integrity Commission investigators probing? That is a question that you need to answer, because it seems like you are brilliant more than anybody else. Huh? Seems like, your IQ level is just way above everyone else. And so then what you see and processing, right, ordinary people like me and Melting Pot cannot process it, because we are not of the standard where you are at. So I am just simply asking you a question, because we, Melting Pot and I, we are the Daffy. So the Daffy is just asking you, who is the creme of the creme as it relates to brilliancy, right? Who is doing the probe into Andrew Holness? Is it Mark Golan or the Integrity Commission investigators? Now let me bring in Melting Pot. Melting Pot, come in and answer them for us.
Well, this pretty dance where we have, pan display. She need to get her head sorted out, maybe we have to use some G's and caustic soda and all these type of things to clean out when I feel her head. Because her head certainly no good. It's full of all type of bacteria and corruption. That may I see. Because this pretty dance has been exhibiting some posts. I don't know how much Andrew appear. You understand? But she working very hard for a corrupted prime minister. And it's only she alone have these type of, rhetoric where she speak of. So me just want pretty dance know, say, you need to go and enroll yourself in Jamal. Please and thanks. Go enroll yourself in a Jamal. Your face too bright and your ear is of blonde quality, but you not ready. Me can't tell you, say, you not ready for the work with Andrew employ you for the car. Right now, be a liar tell pa Andrew, Right now, you are tell lie pa Andrew himself. Because your reverse psychology thing right now just expose Andrew more and more. For sure, everybody knows, say, Andrew Holness, when he was being, grilled by the Integrity Commission, him stop talk to the Integrity Commission. And when Andrew conclude him conversation with the Integrity Commission, them stop at 28 bank account. Pretty done, for your information, there's many more bank accounts, but it just stop at 28, right? The next thing, when you are talking about corruption, Andrew are the father of all corruption where we know about take place in Jamaica. Him head them. Yeah? From lie to Ponzi scheme to carrying out a coup on democracy to putting out some fictitious law as it relates to tie, gun, and car seat, and many more, charging people for mass. Yeah? So, when it comes to corruption, Andrew have all of that. Because I everyone going to film thing too much. What we want you to do, I think you need to change your hair from blonde to brunette. Yeah? And you will look like a more black Jamaican. You understand? Because I not see not black about you, Me see you I represent the CIA along with Andrew Holness. And you back Andrew Holness criminality. And you don't care about what happened to the people in Jamaica. It look like, I don't even know where you come from. Yeah? Because you're speaking at two, context. Me I hear a little pat one, then me I hear a foreign thing. So you don't even know what kind of accent you want to project to it. So you know you're a flip-flopper. Right there and then me catch you a flip-flop with your accent. You're a piece of shit. Me know Sir Byron no want ram you, but me ram you. Yeah? Because you need to be rammed back in the hole where you come from. And we know Andrew hole. We know Andrew where you come from. You understand? But we see what Andrew will do. It a kill all bicycle man, them a broke all them neck in it. And them man they you want come spend your time and try to, you know, vindicate him as an innocent piece of shit in our country. Him not innocent. The whole world knows Andrew a criminal. So I don't know how you don't know that pretty dunce. Pretty dunce. Your ear want fix up in a different color, man. Cause I know you're not blind enough, cause every time I see you have a different hairstyle. Go back to your brunette, man. You understand? And then you think you have some more sense. But that is for pretty dunce, cause I now waste the time on she. Andrew the man where we have to focus on. Pretty dunce you have to later. Now I want to ask Andrew, yeah, what time Parliament close? Because here Andrew talk about him work hard late at night, you know. I mean, no, Andrew workplace supposed to be Parliament and in I'm constituency, but nobody now see him down there, so. Yeah. So if I did illiterate them when I climb at night, go cut ribbon for some little fall cub, we no employ if you do them thing, the big man. You choose to do that. That's not in your job description. All right. Next thing I want to ask Andrew now. Yeah, because I talk about the type of work where him do a hard work. Yeah. Me know you that talk say you cut stone, but me know a lie you tell. So which are the hard work you do? Woodwork in a Vale Royal. Yeah, we know you that do some woodwork in a Vale Royal late at night, you know. Very late at night too. And you bully all the gate man, them, you do allow them to pull the gate. You pull gate and go in. This is how you know no respect or regard for nobody. You understand? Yeah, and when you're in there to work in a darkness. So you're right when you say you work hard at night. But remember, we know a Vale Royal used to work hard at night. Yeah, and remember say size 13, cut you some heavy box for that. Because remember, you're size 13 used to go down there and work out, you know. And size 13 stop work out with you down there. And you have Vale Royal to yourself. In a night, you work hard in there. Yeah, but you not work hard for the country. You work hard for pleasure yourself. And size 13 cut you about 5. I remember you can't open your mouth either, you know, Andrew. So pretty dunce, you know about this? Pretty dunce, you know about this? You see that scandal when I tell about Vale Royal and Andrew Wallace late at night? Cover all scandal where you think the PMP have, because the PMP never have nothing. We go up to that level here. This buck the meter. This buck the meter, because this man is a married man, you know. When wife are the speaker of the house. Yeah. And what Andrew do with Vale Royal, where you know supposed to be the Prime Minister resident, unbelievable. He might turn it in a war house, not warehouse, you know, war house. I'll do him pack up a bag of things in it. It's not a warehouse, it's a war house. Andrew turned Vale Royal into. And that cannot be disputed by Andrew. That is what I'm saying is unassailable. So you need to get it in your head. All right. Now let me look on another aspect of Andrew now. Yeah. As it relates to Pretty Dunce now, I try to vindicate himself as a clean guy. You understand? But we know Andrew not clean, you know. You understand? Because here it is now. Andrew have 3 fictitious businesses when I look on you. So Estate Bridge, Imperium, and Positive Media. I see them 3 businesses, them linked to a total of 427 million. Now nobody know about them company, you know. Them not exist. So me can't tell Pretty Dunce, them not exist. Them are a shell company where we own taxpayers' money and people money from in the Ponzi scheme are run through, are rings through them here.
Hit them,
understand?
Hit them.
Yeah. I show them here 3 entities here, them 3 ghost company here, them 3 Ponzi scheme shell company here. 427 million pop up. Yeah. Me know say you have reputable business place with qualified, you know, business entrepreneur. Them not make them money. And And when Andrew make the money in a period of time when Jamaica not grow, but Andrew and his business are grow by 36% and Jamaica can only show a 1% growth. So Pretty Dons, are you aware of what Andrew Holness information and where it went? It went into the affidavits. So what the Integrity Commission put out is not what Mark Walden tell them to, it's what Andrew tell them to. They are merely repeating what Andrew Holness saying in the affidavit. This is why Andrew want, them to give a stay and don't expose some of the things right in the affidavit. Yeah. You understand? But we can't allow that. Everything we're in there for read out. I remember again, Pretty Dons. Remember affidavit come pay again title, pan rape, So you know your party no good, Pretty Dons. So come and tell Jamaica people how much of the taxpayers' money Andrew give you to come chat garbage. Yeah? And you have money now till every minute your ear color change. Because remember, you can't fool when your face Pretty Dons. What year you was a brunette, now you turn blonde. You understand? So you need to get your thing in a farm, in a formula where people can see through. Right now we can't see through what you're saying. Because we don't look through corruption, we beat corruption and burn corruption. But you are look through corruption because you get what you forget from corruption. So you like when Andrew carry out them type of illicit enrichment activity, because you reap from it, because Andrew have to pay people like you to come talk shit as a blogger. Yeah? And think so well then your little pretty face can attract critical thinkers' mind. No critical thinker will listen to you. Because them know you spew beer shit, donkey poo, cow poo, horse poo, dog poo, fowl poo from out of your mouth. You understand? Go and do your research on your leader if you want engagement with people in a social media space. Social media people not buy tabloid. Them not listen to it. Yeah? Social media people, because remember this is not TikTok platform, So you can't tick and you talk over there. So you see when you are coming on social media space, come correct. A very knowledgeable audience we have around here. And they are well schooled by Mystic, We Alone Some, Melting Pot, even Lady and Marie chip in, yeah, on certain subject. So don't run out and back a criminal, because all it does is show you to be a criminal as well. Show me your company, I'll tell you who you are, and you're keeping and doing this company. So you're a pretty criminal too, You're pretty dunce and pretty criminal. Because you rob taxpayers' money. Because you not work for Andrew and you not work for Jamaica. Because all you do is sink Andrew in some deep shit water where you just come out with. So let me tell you, pretty dunce, Andrew have about, when it's done, Andrew could have about 100 bank accounts. Here? Just like how me that tell people say Andrew is not millionaire, he was a billionaire. And see it come to tuition, he is a billionaire. I may upgrade him to super billionaire. You understand? Your guy have over 150 truck and stop some little contractor, private contractor from eat a food. Yeah, because him and Nigel Clark, you were the backside levy, them trade the backside levy to contract. This is why everyone try to talk about trading dignity for power. Piece of shit.
Now, a couple things, Part.
Where you come from, man? You don't know when you come around and say beat, we beat people and teach them. A beat and teach institution you come in. So if you want to retain some form of semblance of a lady, please recruit yourself from Andrew Holness' business. Because around here, saw the people business we deal with, not Andrew business. The people give Andrew, yeah, the privilege, and Andrew use it and abuse it and turn it into power. Power, not privilege anymore. Him turn the privilege into power. And I exhibit power all over the place where them go till it reach down to the little toddler them now. Yeah? So we have to make you realize you not have no credibility. Yeah? Cause right now, you know, me no know, we know Delaware corrupt, but Delaware no want you there, you know. Delaware State University where Keisha Macan, Trapper John and Andrew go, you know. Them no want you, you know. Cause you go take up too much time. I remember these people are business people, cause them corrupt. Them want people to in and out quickly and do fictitious business. So understand when you come around here, you have to come correct. If you don't come correct, you know we are going to fling some mess by you. I yield back the floor.
Well said, well said, well said. Very thin part. Love that. Now, also, you understand, highlight the corruption as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party, extended corruption, and some which is just ridiculous, right, in terms of the high level of corruption. And it goes as if it appears that it reached to a state of mind of entitlement. Seems as if they are entitled to steal taxpayers' money or take taxpayers' money and do what they want to do with it. So, my lady, let me remind you of these recent happenings as well. Right? Let us go there. Now, Parliament must sanction Tufton because Tufton believes that he can just come out and, you know, try to put a spin on what the Integrity Commission investigators expose. And let me tell you something, Miss Pretty Duns, right? Christopher Tufton is going through the same probity as what Andrew Holness had gone through and still going through, right? So no difference. So Margoli's name is not on this either. So we want you to know who is doing the probing because that is one of the first things you should have found out when you're coming out, running out, talking about, you know, Margolin, right, need to apologize. Apologize to who? Who Margolin need to apologize to? Are you crazy? Right, you trust me. You're walking on your head. Now, Parliament must sanction Tufton, says commentator. And this is no joke. Now, let me just go and play this.
I wait to see what happens in the House of Parliament. The IC report is tabled, and hopefully there will be a debate, and that some kind of sanction will be taken. Because one of my concerns is that we have adopted the Westminster model of government, and interestingly, in the British system, there's no sort of clearly written constitution, but what the British relies heavily on is convention. Mm-hmm. And it strikes me that if we are going to be following the same methodology here in terms of the Westminster model, then we should also follow those conventions, because in that context, the minister in question would have had to step aside or resign.
I'm not as optimistic as Lloyd B. I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say this. That's based on our recent track record.
Precedent.
Yes, of what things that we would think that if it occurs, frankly, even in the UK at the moment, because it has been weaponized so much. The decency of resigning has been weaponized so much that everything becomes a resignable offense. But in our case, and we're seeing the broad outlines of how the battlefield is going to be set up, and it's going to end in a draw. And the broad outlines are that Market Me has come out and said they haven't done anything wrong, right? Minister Tufton has come out and said, in a sense, that he's exonerated.
He's been vindicated,
right? And therefore it goes to Parliament, and then it's going to become, we're going right back into JLP, PNP, and bad mind, and nothing happened.
Exactly. Take that away, Oni, and let us reinforce this by the next clip, right? And we can't continue down this path. So we are going to speak, right, as it relates to some serious situations here.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
Ready?
Right, let us.
Andrew Holness was prevented from going inside of the polling station, so he sent all the police in the region to come lock down the stations. Vote is at a pause right now at the Pentecostal Basic School on Beatrice and High Park Road. It's one piece of pandemonium.
All right. Take it away. All right. Now, let me talk to my Jamaican people and melting pot. Right? Now, I think as it relates to, we have seen what Christopher Tufton had done. Came out, tried to spin it, right, that he was vindicated. We know that he wasn't vindicated, right? The Integrity Commission definitely identified certain gaps as to why, right, he has not been prosecuted. So let us talk about those gaps. Nothing in the Constitution, as I say before, and this is one of the reasons why I am glad that Mark Golding now have 28. So I'm just going to strike now some argument out there that it takes on life. Now, nothing in the Constitution speaks about nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery, right? To have it identified as a crime. Nothing in the Constitution. So these are the gaps that Andrew Holness, right, Christopher Tufton, right, and all of these people been walking through these gaps because they know very well that, okay, I can breach the procurement rules. And in so doing, right, I can just, even when a contract based on the policy that anything that over $1.5 million, so I want people to understand now where we are coming from. Anything over $1.5 million, if that procurement, right, threshold is over $1.5 million, it cannot have just one person's to sign off on that as it relates to that respective ministry permanent secretary. It is going to now acquire the cabinet secretary, and it is now going to acquire, right, the minister of finance. So you're going to have 3, right, signatures on that before the thing signed off on. Now for Christopher Tufton, right, was able to utilize, right, 80 million Jamaican dollars. You understand? Spend it on a Benz Punani. You know? Now, where I'm going? The permanent secretary needs to be investigated. Needs to be investigated. And so then what we have to do, we have to start with the low-hanging fruit and work ourselves up, right, to the head, to pluck the head. And let me tell you why. The permanent secretary would have to explain as it relates to why did he sign off on something that would require 3 signatures, right? In terms of making the documents flow through that 3 medium and have an understanding. And so then everyone supposed to now collaborate in terms of the approval of such contract to be given. Government contract. So then you have something as it relates to $80 million, long past over the limit of $1.5 million that required 3 signatures when you have contract extended over that amount. How did that escape the loop? And again, Dunstan Bryan, who also a part of this, it is the very same Dunstan Bryan as it relates to the Auditor General. Right? Totally unaccounted as it relates to over $700 or $800 billion to the Ministry of Health. So think of what I'm saying, people. The same Dunstan Bryan. So now me as an investigator, who do you think I am zooming in on? Dunstan Bryan. And you know what Dunstan Bryan responds to the Auditor General was? That the appropriation account, right, has not been completed. Jamaica, let me explain this to you. The appropriation account as it relates to the respective ministry supposed to be done on a yearly basis, annually, every year. Because you know what is the appropriation account? It explains all the expenditures. Every dollar, every cent that's spent. The appropriation account is going to explain that. And you are going to tell me that Dunstan Bryan from 2016 up until 2025, the appropriation accounts for respective ministry cannot be complete. Hey, look here. Andrew Holness, you continue to be robbing Jamaica, right? And yet, those gaps have not been fixed by you. Because obviously you don't want to close those gaps. And so then, the citizen, the taxpayers continue to feel the burden of your kleptocratic administration. Let me ask you a question. And I want to put this out there for it to take on life. Simply mean I expect the opposition leader to be addressing these situations. Are we still having situations where the appropriation account for respective ministry has not been completing on time? So then, what is going to be the issue here moving forward? Are we willing to correct the gaps, the vulnerabilities, the weak points? Are we willing to make our procurement process more robust? Or you just want to just let it stay there because, you know, that is the gap, right, for us to just wiggle in and, you know, continue to, you know, steal taxpayers' money? It is a crying shame that Dunstan Bryan is telling the Auditor General that these accounts, the appropriation accounts, have not been completed for various ministries. So then, simple means, how am I going to audit the Ministry of Health not having the appropriation account? Not having something where I am seeing invoice and purchase order. I cannot track and trace invoice, cannot track and trace purchasing order. What kind of madness this is going? So when Andrew Holness, kleptocratic government, do a sign in a Montego Bay for $17 million, the appropriation account supposed to capture that. Okay, let me see. Right? Purchase orders. Let me see invoices. Right? Is the same thing happen with Darrell Vaz? 110 school buses that we have not received in the island, and yet money was paid out. And today, as we speak, Mr. Darrell Vaz go back on the back burner, you know, but let Darrell Vaz me watch you, you know. Because let me tell you something, you know, Darrell Vaz. We still not get 110 buses yet, you know.
And get $50
million already allotted, you know. How do you think you can fool around us? In Darrell Vaz? Eh? Mr. Half-Brain, how do you think you can fool around us? And 110 all buses we're supposed to get in the first year and say and new buses until we bus you. You understand? Till me and Rattigan and loan some run up on you. And show us a city liar tell. And on a new bus them here, all bus them here, and then a resort and say all bus because you know we catch you red-handed. Well, guess what? You promised that the 110 old school buses should have been in the island by X time. Now, let me tell you something, Darrell Vaz. The $1.4 billion use up now. What you want to say now? Because let me tell you people what them need to look for. You know. Are you saying now that the $1.4 billion only for 60 buses? No. Jamaica, we are going to get mad for that one, you know. So Darrell Vaz, let me tell you something. You know, but I get relaxed, you know. You're talking about you're going to resign politics. You know, but I get relaxed, you know. Because Mystic Sensation is going to come to you with this. You have to explain to me and the Jamaican people as it relates to where is the 110 buses that $1.4 billion allotted for, and we only have 60 buses in the island today as we speak. Where the rest of the buses are, sir. And yet, there's a problem now. There's a problem now that's rearing its ugly head as it relates to health and safety. You know. I mean, know you're aware of that, you know, Darrell Vaz. That the exhaustion coming from the buses start to now affect school children. You know, I wonder if Jamaica listen to me. Remember, Jamaica, that when I had done the investigation, I told Jamaica people that was the reasons why United States and Canada was moving away from those diesel emissions because it creates a health hazard for students. So let me ask you a question, Darrell Vaz. What type of research did you do? If you're talking about you're doing this for the interest of the children, you're doing this for the interest of your damn pocket, your Andrewness. But the taxpayers' money them there. And to show you how extremely wicked you are, using the children as a pretext to rob the treasury. That's what you have done, Darrell Vaz. That's what you and Andrew Owners have done, and the entire parliament who want back you. This is what you have done. Shameless. Shameless, using the innocent young children to protect and cover your teeth for it. So I'm still looking forward, Mr. Darrell Vaz. Right? I am giving you now in the next 2 months to have that 100. Remember, I know I'm coming back, you know. Have the 110, but anyway, if you get them from, you know. Anyway, if you get some more old buses to avoid Mystic Sensation, you know, and avoid Melting Pot, and avoid Lonesome, you know, right? Make sure, say, within the next 2 months, you know, them 110 whole school bus, anywhere them fi come from, fi say seat ya. Because it is going to be more pressure, you know. So how are you saying that we pay $1.4 billion for 60 whole school buses? Now talk to me now, now. Talk to me now, Darrell Vaz. Because the $1.4 billion that you use to so-called purchase 110 old school buses, Darrell Vaz, if you had done the research, do you know that the $1.4 billion that you're taking, right, to purchase these old buses, and plus you have to do retrofitting, which is going to cause, right, more as it relates to government expenditures. Do you know, sir, that could buy 100 brand new school coaster buses? Let me ask you a question, sir. If you had done your research properly, in terms of buying those old school buses that decommissioned out of the United States as a result of safety issues, the safety hazard exposing school children to deadly fumes or emission, and the United States wanted to protect their children from those deadly emissions, dump those buses in garbage pan, and you clean out the garbage, carry it to Jamaica, and give it to Jamaican students, and now they are experiencing health hazard. Sir, I am asking you, do you aware that $1.4 billion, sir, could have purchased 100 brand new coaster buses, which we would avoid any form of retrofitting. So why didn't you take the easy route? Why politics is so difficult for you and Anne-Marie? I understand why politics really difficult for Anne-Marie, because Anne-Marie went into a pool of water and came out dry. Went to the university and didn't even pass worm, and want to challenge ISAT Buchanan, who have been there, done that, a master degree in law, not only a master degree in law, but took the corruptionists to the Privy Council and beat the corruptionists at the Privy Council. This is the person that you, Anne-Marie Vaz, want to challenge. You know, no set of dunceness. And this you don't want to carry to our politics. When you build the spread carpet on the road and when you have inclement showers, not torrential downpour, inclement showers, damage the carpet where you put on and wash it down a river. All the taxpayers' money and the money where you put in your own pocket, using the pretext to so-called fixing road. I want to get to rob all of them money there. And run, come out. No, they beg, they demand people vote. You know, nothing they beg the vote. You know, not demand people vote like you know, entitle. That because you spread local carpet and the inclement showers, wash it off and carry, you're not supposed to get some vote. Then how for tax, hold on, how for money you not spend? Let me ask you now, how for money you not spend? If you money you not spend out of your pocket? Eh? Taxpayers' money belongs to you outer than right, you know. Me say you too entitled, you know. Me say you too entitled a prison you figure, you know. You all need to go to prison. And if it was a truthful democracy, that's why we want to clamp Andrew Holness, you know, and start with him. We want to start with him. We want to cut off the head and make the tail wag. That's what we want to do. Because he is the worst, not only in Jamaica, in the entire Caribbean. Right? None of the Caribbean leaders respect him. None, not one. Shameless. Right? And have no remorse. A narcissist. So we have to deal with him accordingly. So that is how we are going to deal with him. Right? So you, Darrell Vaz, you stand in gear and prepare for us coming back at you, you know. And in the meantime, you try and arrange those buses to come in, you know. Because the argument that we are going to start, we want to know if we pay $1.4 billion for only 60 school buses, you know. I want different line of argument that, you know. It's a different line of argument, you know. And so then, go back now to what me I say now. Don't stand, Brian. You stand up, you know, get to it, you know. Because you, it's your signature upon this too, you know. Don't stand, Brian. Your signature don't stand, Brian, upon all of the corruption, you know. Everything was gone wrong in the Ministry of Health. Don't stand, Brian, let me call your name. Boy, you take me on, you know. You don't stand, Brian. The corruption centers around you as the permanent secretary. You are to be held responsible. Right? I should have the opportunity to deal with you, you know, to ask you some questions in the public and see how you deal with that. But if you listen to me and you want to have a dialogue with me, right? Come on. I would like to have a rational conversation with you. You understand? You can come on the show. You understand? And we talk rational, right? To get to the understanding as it relates to your signature that are fixed and some of these things, right? To understand the level of observation from you in terms of accountability, sir. That's where I want to go. So if you're inclined, right, to clear yourself, come on, Mystic Sensation, and have a dialogue. I am open to have you come on the program and have a dialogue. The people need to understand their business and making sure that who they put at the helm, right, to do the people's business, they are doing the people's business as it ought to be done, sir. So you can come here on the program. I am inviting you to come on the program, have a conversation with Mystic Sensation, and let us rationalize, right? And if anything that you need to clarify, then you can clarify it within the public, right? So we are looking forward. We are anticipating your arrival on the program. So I'm sending out an open invitation to you, Dunstan Bryan, to come on the program. All right. Now let me just turn to Melting Pot. Melting Pot.
Yeah. You know what I don't like with people that are in authority? When them try to be smart but not clever. You understand? And in a tough tongue case, that we say, tough tongue I try to play smart, but tough tongue not clever. Because we know the whole intricacy of what took place as it related to that money, that 80 million was 85, but them round it down. Yeah. When take and give to him sweetheart, yeah. As it related to buying this Punash Benz. You understand? And we know, tough tongue, you can't go around the thing, man. Just come and tell the Jamaican people, yeah, the reason why you do what you do. Yeah, and how to construct it, because we know how to construct that. Yeah. It's either one of two. Either the money move in small portion that requires only the one signature. Yeah. Or it was done deliberately because there is no accountability from within.
So Melting Pot, hold on, Melting Pot. What we know, right? It didn't move in increments, right?
All right.
In lump sum, and so then it requires, right? Three signatures. So
yes.
You understand? And it was one tender, right?
Sir Byron, meanwhile, no. But me just put it out there and give them the option to come talk on which one. Because one of two. That's why I said one of two.
Yes.
You understand? Because tough tongue I play smart, but him not clever. And at that, me I go expose him and show him. Yeah. Him say Andrew Duns. Yeah, and him bright. But in this case, you know, him a play smart, but he's not clever. Because remember, you know, when everything pop up on the heat, yeah, was on. This said guy don't stand by and him run away, you know, to Andrew when him come back out the place, you know. People need to know that, you know. This guy run leave him post. Same guy on study leave. Yeah, but a permanent appointment was made in regard to film position where him did have before him leave. Them fill it. And it never said temporary. You understand? So, but Andrew when him come back under the four rules, man. You understand? So we know when Tough Tongue has said him not vindicated. Yeah. Tough Tongue, we know a loophole on the use and you go through. Yeah. And rightfully, yeah, when I use the Westminster model, and even though nepotism and cronyism, no, they in it, there's a word that name convention. Yeah. It we use in the parliament system up here. When certain things happen amongst member of parliament that are duly elected by the people. Yeah, where it look, it smell, and it feel like corruption. In a UK, them people have to vacate like Matt Hancock. Yeah, Boris Johnson. Prime Minister. So a hanky-panky business will not go on with down there, we know it. So we don't want tough tongue come go on like so well then him never guilty of the charge. Yeah? Tough tongue you're guilty. You and I know that. The entire Jamaican knows so you move the money and get to this woman. You understand? I remember Jamaica not get nothing. Because the money they don't go market you. It never market me as well it said for the people them. It market you. But you can be me too. Because you PR directly for market you. And yes, one thing that go out there, touch viral. You understand? So it was well and truly market to the tune of 80 million Jamaican dollars. But when I look on tough tongue and when the people at Jamaica say, them not get nothing for the money. So can you please get back that 80 mil back into the people's hand? As we know it's supposed to be the people's money. Bring it back and put it back where we get it from tough tongue. Because you value more than that, you know. Tough tongue, you know, say you're garbage. You have a rice importation license. Yeah, where you make bag of money after. Where when we expose you, you turn it over to your son. Well, you couldn't take the money from your son. We can't understand how our program in a tough tongue. Yeah, we can't understand how your program. But monkey see, monkey saw, monkey do. Yeah? So the whole of our monkey along with Andrew, you know. Yeah? Because you could have take the 80 mil from your place. And you as a man, we are deal with rice, or you pay mark, or you are deal with wellness and market me and your product, a starchy product for the people diabetes and everything there. Remember, you are import rice, you know. Bad rice at that, you know, tough tongue. You understand? So just stop the lying, man, and come out. You know you get caught red-handed. You understand? And you cannot retract from what we know happened, what took place with this money. Yeah, if it is that Lindsay McDonald has said, boy, them not do nothing wrong. You are saying not do nothing wrong. Then how Jamaica not get no satisfaction? If you not do nothing wrong between you and Lindsay McDonald, how Jamaican people can't get no satisfaction? All the country no benefit from the 80 million. So something must go wrong. That's why I say you're playing smart, but you're not clever. Because you feel so no bright and everything when you say the little people you digest it. No. And everybody are digest your corruption and your lies, tough tongue. We round here so we know what took place. We see where you are trying to wiggle your way out, just like how you wiggle on the way through the loophole. There's a loophole that exists in Jamaica politics and parliament as it relates to the parliamentarian, you know. We exploit the loophole. We exploit the loophole. But then, when you go in and take out the 80 mil, and you get caught, you want to wiggle your way back out through the loophole. You can't wiggle your way out through this tough tongue, man. Yeah? And remember, you know, it's that thing we run right across the board in our Jamaica Labour Party. Because this is your saga. Now, Pumva's theme saga is $1.4 billion. For all junk, discarded, decommissioned school bus. When nobody no want the man tell a lie, say out bid all Canada. Canada make these buses tough tongue, man. I mean, Pumba, they a piece of shit, man. Canada manufacture these buses. And there's no way little Jamaica can outbid Canada if Canada wants something. Canada never did a look no bus. No. So this is how we lie willy-nilly. We tell lie pan all fly. You understand? So we know we not get no value for the $1.4 billion. We know what the $1.4 billion was all about. But you don't know about them little cheap bus here. Because you know about the cheap bus, so them give them for nothing, you know. Them just want to get rid of them off of the lunch with them depend. Because remember, they sort of be clear so when the next batch come in and them are going to decommission them go back there. You know. So them can't have them there. Them are give them away. So here, you know about it and say, all right, you take out the $1.4 billion, you know. We are going to use it for our own personal interest, you know, run election and keep some in our pocket. But you have some like all bus flowers, so I go for them, you know. I want to go for the whole bus them. I saw no work that 1.4 billion there. We don't know about the old bus them and give up for nothing. But we never know so Jamaican would know about it. Tell them giving away them for nothing. We never know. Because remember the first thing you lie and say a new bus. Then when the Prime Minister realized so we're around here, beat it till you have a bend. Yeah. Come up and say, well, you know, these buses are buses that we will have to retrofit and book back. Refurbish bus them, all bus them. You understand? So, we know what I want to do. We not play smart, but we not clever. Because we forgot so we're in the era when social media exists. One time when you could have done this and nobody know, you know. Yeah, nobody would know. We don't get a scotch free. We can't do it again. Because we have a zero in. And when I have to ask nothing, we can find out what we want to know. And when we find out was 100% factual. And everything what we say going to happen to them all garbage bus here, it has happened. And it has gone beyond even what we prescribe as a dose of corruption. You understand? Because here it is now, you know. Your garbage bus them Pumvas. I know it run the government into millions of dollars right now based on where we are see. Only for accident it's involved in. We don't hear to talk nothing about that. We are wondering if we now come tell the public, say, well, look, as a result of these buses not being roadworthy for Jamaican road, we have seen, you know, that these buses have now racked up somewhere in the region of about $300-400 million. You understand? Come tell me, because we need a boss, you know. We don't condemn all the taxi operator them who carry the kids them for how long. We don't condemn them, we don't say them no good. We don't say the kids them at risk, we don't say the kids them in a danger. With the taxi operator them. And them safer in the bus them. You understand? Because when you not play, we don't look a game. We don't never know say every game carry a blame. And we find on guilty and we are blame on for misappropriation of taxpayers' money. Yeah. We don't take the money, most I spend in buying vote, distribute amongst a couple of we know that. Yeah, but you move the money. Yeah. I want to use it, I want to facilitate vote buying. I want to do a lot of things. Illegal things with the money. Yeah, I want to tell lie. Yeah. Because people it start this ban themselves from the whole altercation, you know. Yeah, some people wanna say it, you know, responsible for certifying the bus them and all these things and for bringing the bus them. And people shall lie them now not to do them. Yeah, man. So when we see cases like this, it reminds me of other cases like the Royal Reed case, like Patrick Bailey case, and we know I just want to operate. You understand? We need back. Because right now, you look at it, you know. You're 1.4, yeah, and Tough Tang 80 million. A pretty near, what that now? A pretty near 2 billion. So it go by Ran?
Yes.
2.2 billion that, you know, between the two of them, you know. 2.2 billion. 2.2 billion we can do some great things. See, we have people on the road there, homeless. You can't imagine what 2.2 billion can do for them. See the school them pop down there. Them need bench and desks and tables and all these things and window need to go back in. And leakage need to fix. Yeah, so if you add that 2.2 there with for Royal Reed 55 mil, God Almighty, you not go on well, boy. And if you're throwing Mama Cow for your own, boy, the rock up, the go up, man, it a step up. hey, are some serious criminal in IGLP. So when Pretty Dunce talk about corruption and PMP need to, Pretty Dunce, you don't know nothing yet, man. You want to go to Jamal, man, and then, you know, none of them guys from over the Labour Party can graduate you. The socialists have to graduate you because we deal with Jamal and we know when you're ready to leave Jamal. You understand? Because remember Michael Mann formed that, you know, foundation member that, you know, inaugurate Jamal in our society. So no Labour right can graduate you to come talk. And we, as Manleyites, have to graduate you from Jamal. Yeah, because right now, me have so much corruption that me don't even want to go in it. Remember when you take away all the fertilizer from Morocco, you know, and sell it, you know. I remember it come for the farmers in Jamaica. And the whole I want to sell the fertilizer. The 3 shipment of fertilizer, I want to sell them, I want to make pipe bomb with them. I want to do all type of thing. I want to give it, I want to do everything. We know no corruption spread far and wide. When the corruption would have take about 5 years for we go through it. About 5 years, which is constitute to 1 on the term. Because every day we have corruption. There is no day when the Labour Party don't have a new corruption attached to it. You understand? Yes, man. Because we can't go in more, you know. We can't go in so much more. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But, you know, never just heel back the floor to the host.
All right. Well said, Melting Pot. Love those punches. And, you know, Melting Pot said something that is extremely important. In terms of all those situations of corruption, just imagine if those monies, right, did spend in terms of helping out several social programs, right? It would, you know, it would be such a good thing to have it, but it gone in the pocket of friend and company, right? Now, watch this. There are certain things about the Tufton saga that plenty Jamaican don't really know about, right? About a Lady McDonald situation. But I am going to expose it today, right? Now, a lady who was there also resigned as a result of the corruption. And I want to expose this because it is better than what we think. It's worse. It's worse than what we think. So let us get into that clip. And I want Jamaican people to listen. Right? Christopher Tufton is very evil. Now, let us play this clip.
Just play that.
Yeah.
Play it again?
Yeah. No, you're not playing it yet. Here it is. This. All right. I'm saying I'm going to button now.
You played it already, but send it back.
Okay, let me just send it on your just play. You haven't played it yet. Hit that button. Just send it. There it is. Okay, so listen, my Jamaican people, as it relates to that situation, right?
Oh.
All right, listen up.
A director resigned from a government health board claiming she couldn't add value on the exact same day that board's committee approved $15 million for her company. Here's the story. Lindsay McDonough, a principal at the marketing firm Market Me, was appointed to Jamaica's National Health Fund Board. While she was a board member, her company pitched the Jamaica Moves campaign to the Ministry of Health. The ministry, led by Dr. Christopher Tufton, then gave Market Me the contract directly, with no competing bids, calling it a unique concept. On February 15, 2017, the Health Fund's Finance Committee greenlit an initial $15 million for the project. That very same day, McDonough submitted her resignation, stating she was unable to add value to the organization. A week later, the full board approved the funding. This gets wilder. Social media posts later alleged a long-term affair between McDonough and the minister. He called the posts false but dodged direct questions. Yet, he publicly called her company amazing and said they delivered very effectively, which makes her resignation reason sound pretty strange. Since 2017, MarketMe has been awarded almost $88 million in contracts from the ministry without competition. An official investigation is supposedly underway, leaving everyone to wonder if this is a simple case of good business or a classic tale of cronyism.
All right.
A director resigned from a government health board claiming she could.
Apart from cronyism, right, nepotism, right, is the order of the day. Go back to what I said earlier. As it relates to the Constitution, why we have to clean up the gaps. And this is the gap that Christopher Tufton escaped through. We have to put in nepotism and define nepotism within the Constitution to prosecute likes like Christopher Tufton. We have to state and define what nepotism is so that Christopher Tufton can be prosecuted. If nepotism, right, was drafted in the Constitution, right, embedded in law as a criminal offense, listed under might be the Corruption Act, then the Integrity Commission investigators could prosecute it. This is how Christopher Tufton escaped. So then, I am saying this for it to take on life. Let us look at nepotism to put that in the Constitution, or if not, to put it in law, so that parliamentarians can be prosecuted, right, as it relates to nepotism, can be prosecuted, right? We shouldn't be tolerating that. Singapore, my Jamaican people, listen to me. Singapore has nepotism in their Corruption Act and prosecute several of their member of parliament on nepotism charges. True. Singapore done that. True. Why we can't do that in Jamaica? Why we can't do that? We are not, look here, we have to have robust laws to deal with them, to deal with Andrew Holness and him criminal friend them. So, likewise, Singapore have nepotism within their laws. It should be also in Jamaica, and other Caribbean countries need to put it in if we want to clean up corruption, like how Singapore clean up corruption.
Sure.
And that is what I'm saying. Now, my Jamaican people, I am going to move into a very serious topic. It came to my attention and I have to address it because you know what, my Jamaican people, I have addressed it 2 years ago. One in Jamaica. If people remember the clip, I am going to speak so you can look back on Mystic Sensation history, go into the clip and see how I talk about ghost guns. If you are following me, know that I have addressed this situation some 2 years ago, and I tell Jamaica that Jamaica must look forward for this situation because this situation is extremely dangerous. The United States of America is guilty as it relates to 3D weapons, ghost guns, that spread itself globally and create several main killing several people. And you know what the biggest thing? I want to talk to my Jamaican people. Look at the United States. A 3D ghost guns that fire live bullets, kill people, and even more lethal than some of the real guns. More lethal than some of the real guns. United States don't willing to call it a gun. People think I'm joking. United States doesn't willing to call it a gun. It sounds like what I'm saying, I'm talking nonsense. But I'm going to show you the evidence. And you know the reason why they don't willing to call it a gun? Because at the trigger guard, it has no serial number. Now you tell me, my Jamaican people, tell me the people who are listening to me in the diaspora and in Jamaica, you tell me a first world country behaving so primitive that it is now affecting the Caribbean island. Now, without any delay, let me show you and show you how serious this thing is. Because it now reached Jamaican soil. And I have to address it. Again, I've addressed it roughly about 4 times, and I'm going to address it again. Now, look at this, my Jamaican people. 3D ghost guns that I've spoken about. And now here it is now, take on flesh in Jamaica. Listen to this.
In general, a number of operations were conducted in the Central Fremont Police Division. Today is Saturday, October 11, 2025. It resulted in police criminal confrontation, and all of those incidents are being investigated by the JCF appropriate body, as well as INDECOM. As we speak, 2 of the scenes are still being processed. But of significance, from the operations today, 4 illegal firearms were seized. And at one of the premises where they had that confrontation, we discovered some other equipment and some paraphernalia that are used by the criminal underworld. What you see here is a 3D printer, a very unique 3D printer, and it is used, it can be used, and based on all investigations so far, it was being used to print firearm paraphernalia. These are the filament that were being used. This is one of the things that were used. It is used to place on this mount. This is a thermal mount. It also has night vision capabilities. This is also another thermal mount, and this is one of the items that was printed from this printer to put on it. It is also capable of printing suppressors. Most people know it as silencers that can be placed on firearms, and they are capable. It also can be used to print ghost guns, plastic firearms that can be used that are operable as well. Maybe not as durable, but they are also operable. We looked at one of the laptops that was seized at the premises. This premises is where 2 firearms were recovered. And on this laptop, we saw schematics and software that are used to connect to the 3D printer that can be used to print firearm paraphernalia. And we see where the person who had this laptop has the necessary skills and expertise to use the software that are on it to develop and to print things that can be used using all the things that you see here. The JCF has the capabilities to identify these equipment and the misuse of them or the illegal use of them, and we will be conducting our operations with the necessary expertise to identify them and to ensure that persons do not use this to conduct illegal activities. Well, as knowledge increases, things can be used for good or for back. Some of the items here, we have to check because in a normal printer you will find a 3D printer. However, it is not supposed to be used because the Firearms Act, or the new Firearms Act, any part of a firearm you can be arrested and you can be charged for it. And we are saying to members of the general public, do not use such equipment to do these things. You will be caught and you will be prosecuted because we know what we're looking for and we have the necessary expertise to identify the software and the schematics that you use on your various computers to create these kind of things.
Okay, so take this away. My Jamaica people, this is the reason why Andrew Holness and his government getting panic and passing laws as it relates to toy guns, 15 years and so, because they are getting panic. I have spoken about this some 2 years ago. And I guess because, I am on social media, it was just pushed under the rug. Now it's surfaced and they have to deal with it now. Now, let me tell you something and give you the evidence coming out of the United States as it relates to the 3D. My Jamaican people, this is no ordinary situation that we are looking at. It is extremely dangerous. Let us show you how extremely dangerous this is. Now, get into lawmakers try to look from the United States perspective. Listen carefully.
Who are mentally unstable, fugitives, felons, domestic violence offenders, juveniles, terrorists, all have access to weapons of destruction at the click of a mouse.
A bill introduced in Congress today would make it illegal for someone to print a 3D gun until they've gone through a background check and registered the weapon. Congressman Frank Pallone sponsored the legislation.
Even though we have, and we do have under the Second Amendment, a right to bear arms, that we don't want it to be unregulated.
3D guns are undetectable. These can be made from plastics, the same plastics that make Legos, and therefore can't be traced through a metal detector, as the congressman correctly pointed out. 3D guns are untraceable. They don't have serial numbers, which will make it very, very difficult for law enforcement to trace back crime guns. And 3D guns right now are unregulated.
This bill is in direct response to a settlement that was reached over the summer between the federal government and Defense Distributed, a Texas-based private defense firm. The agreement allowed the company to post 3D gun plans online, but attorney generals from several states, including New Jersey, quickly pushed back, and a federal judge temporarily blocked the order.
It's not a permanent injunction, so the underlying lawsuit has not proceeded yet. That's why the congressman's legislation is so imperative. This would create a permanent regulatory structure for 3D printing of guns. We don't have a settled decision yet from federal court.
A similar New Jersey bill banning ghost guns, or guns made using untraceable components, including plastic guns made by 3D printer, was recently sent to the governor's desk.
Interestingly, in the Senate, it passed unanimously. Not a single Republican voted against this legislation on Monday. And in the General Assembly, which has a body of 80 assembly members, only 5 Republicans voted no. So it shows you that common sense gun safety legislation can get bipartisan support.
The New Jersey Second Amendment Society president Alex Rubian says there's nothing common sense about the proposed legislation because it's based on misinformation.
All that's doing is adding hoops and hurdles for law-abiding citizens. The criminals are not going to abide by that.
The National Rifle Association's executive director says, quote, undetectable plastic guns have been illegal for 30 years. Federal law passed in 1988, crafted with the NRA's support, makes it unlawful to manufacture, import, sell, ship, deliver, possess, transfer, or receive an undetectable firearm.
If you 3D print a gun, you use the polymer plastics from the 3D printer, but you need to use some certain metal components that make it detectable.
Rubian says the Defense Distributed debate is a matter of First Amendment rights violations.
They are trying to control the types of files and information that we're either reading about on the internet or getting access to and downloading to our desktops.
New Jersey has among the strictest gun violence prevention laws in the country, and not coincidentally, we have among the lowest per capita gun violence deaths in the country. This is not complicated.
Defense Distributed did not return our request for comment. In New Brunswick, Leah Mishkin, NJTV News.
All right, it's the way. Now we come back to Jamaica and show Jamaica some serious things. And we are going to identify some of those 3D weapons coming through the ports. And why I think I'm touching it? Jamaica. Let me tell you why I'm touching it. There's one particular port, and I know that Melting Pot is going to hit on it. There's one particular port in Kingston that owns by a former GLP member, where several of these guns coming through these ports. And all now, that GLP counselor has not been interrogated. Has not been interrogated. How serious are we as it relates to this current government fighting these issues? Not serious. The Cuban authority, right, had communicated to even United States that Jamaica is not serious about fighting guns and drugs. Right? The issue is serious. Now, look at this. Major gun ammunition bust at wharf in Montego Bay. Look at this, Jamaican people. So we have a problem here. There it is. All right, people, I want you to identify it here. Let me show you. There it is. Ghost gun, the plastic. There it is. No serial number, so the ghost gun has reached on our shore. Right? Here again, no serial listing. Ghost guns on our shore. Here it is again, right? Ghost guns on our shore. Now, play it, my wife. Play it, wife.
Of 19 illegal guns seized by police at wharf in Montego Bay. People, welcome back to Yard and Abroad TV. Please remember to hit the subscribe button, turn on post notification, like, comment, share, and subscribe. As I said, if you're not familiar with this channel, we talk about issues in Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the whole world, people. A high-level investigation is underway following the seizure of a shipment of 19 illegal guns in Montego Bay, St. James last night. The guns were seized by the police at the Montego Bay Freeport Wharf in the parish. 6 high-powered guns are among those seized. 470 rounds of ammunition was also confiscated by the police at the wharf. The seizure took place during an approximately 4-hour-long operation. Detectives from the Police Criminal Investigation Division, CIB, are investigating. It's not immediately clear whether...
You just want to show Jamaica something, right, as it relates to that, right? But look on the next clip, Jamaica. Look on the next clip that we are going to bring up here, right? Just taking you, right, in terms of what we are experiencing here.
Earlier today, the police were on foot patrol and walked through in the Sarswick's place. A group of men would have saw police and ran. The police would have conducted searches after, where 4 firearms were found, 3 AR-15 rifle and 1 Smith & Wesson pistol. A follow-up operation was conducted in which 1 man was held with a firearm and he is arrested.
Okay, so you have found 5 now then?
Yes, so we have
Box
5
stop.
firearms now.
Stop that. That box stop run barrel.
So you were just here
to,
doing...
Okay. Now, take it away. Because people pay attention to the box stop barrel here that I am pointing out. The round magazine clip. Now, let me talk to Jamaica. Now, let me talk to Jamaica. My Jamaican people, when you look and see the box stop magazine, the round magazine, that carries more than 100 rounds. Now, if you have 3 guys with that taking on the police, you think they can stop them? So you have 3 guys rolling up with those box stop magazine that carry over 100 and odd rounds each. You're looking over 300 and odd rounds. And remember, extra clip. Now, Why you think I gave you those 2 areas in St. James? Who is the Minister of National Security? Who is the Minister of National Security? Armstrong. And in St. James, the Minister of National Security constituents, guns pass through his constituents more than anything, more than anywhere else. And he is the Minister of National Security and the Deputy Prime Minister. So you are going to tell me that from 2016, Horace Chang being there and can't find a solution to stop these? Can't find nothing? What sort of intelligence that Horace Chang is gathering? It is not like Horace Chang couldn't find it. He's not doing one thing to find it. Right? He's not doing nothing. And this is the person that WikiLeaks tell us about him, Horace Chang. The Minister of National Security and WikiLeaks listed to be a part of the problem as it relates to drugs and guns coming into the island. So I am asking the question. The Minister of National Security, right? These type of weapons, ghost guns, 3D printers, silencer. So people can go on a scene and kill you, come off of the scene, and you don't even hear a gunshot fire. And these things are coming through our wharf. We are not safe. And yet, Andrew Holness is telling people on top of his voice in Parliament that his administration is the only administration that dealing with crime effectively. You know, say I joke this. You know, say I joke this, Jamaica. Eh? Let us ask ourselves a question. During People's National Party rulership or leadership, anytime the PNP, the rule, when you see them something happen, much guns that come through the wall, when you see them something happen. Have you seen, we are saying that leadership makes a difference. That's all I'm saying here. That leadership makes a difference. The type of leader that we have is going to reflect as it relates to the type of community and the type of society that we are bearing. It is as simple as that. What sort of checks and balance that Horace Chang is providing? What sort of leadership quality? Eh? Under his responsibility, the biggest gun boss under his responsibility. Plain landing on the island, and the Minister of National Security has nothing to say, has no form of awareness, totally oblivious. What is this? What is this? Madness. And so then I'm just going to ask Melting Pot to close us out because we're already past 3 o'clock. So Melting Pot, all right, just close us out. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Byron. Now, you know, we have to look on this whole 3D printer fiasco, yeah, as it relates to plastic gun, yeah, made by 3D printer. Now, you know, them they try to deal with it in the American criminal space. But it was pushed back. Yeah. Because it no make no common sense in the classification of the 3D as a gun based on the American legislation. And then wait though, it's gross violation of human rights. That's what Rubio said. But you know, Jamaica now like to look on outside society model and use it in our space, but use it inappropriately. You understand? Because if this could not be passed into law in the United States, why is it passed into law in Jamaica? We have to ask ourselves the question. So we know we have dictator style of leadership as we still, advocate on the subject of leadership. We have a dictatorship style of leadership in Jamaica, where Andrew Holness, embrace anything we want to embrace. Andrew Holness embrace a non-existent Minister of National Security, a guy who is in Wikipedia, cable, and it lists the type of activity we're involved in. One major one, as we are talking about gun, is gang. Because we know gang use illegal weapon. And the subject matter that we are talking about is 3D printer making plastic gun using in illegal activity. But our Minister of National Security, Sleepy Joe, aka Dr. Crab. Remember, him non-existent because him have a gang for himself called the Stone Crusher Gang. And you know that operate out of the West in a film constituency. And down there, so you have the Freeport Wharf and them 19 illegal firearms, how much? 400 and something, 70 rounds of ammunition. Them come through film place. I know them not come through there and stop them distribute into society. Because half you fuel him gang. Now when you look further afield, one of that big old gun bus with ammunition, you know that take place upon Newport East Wharf. And that shipment leave from Newport East, just across Marcus Garvey Drive, up onto Industrial Terrace, right where the old Jamaica Omnibus company used to have them garage. Now we know a guy named Neville Gallimore, who was a farmer, member of parliament in the Jamaica Labour Party. We know him own that place, that warehouse. I don't know why him choose to own that warehouse. But I can remember one time when Hurricane Gilbert come, that warehouse was used to store overseas welfare items, such as food items and all those things that was given to Jamaica. I actually worked there. I actually worked there, so I can tell people and everybody from West Kingston who are tuning in know say yes, I down the side they used to stay. Some used to cross the road over Antillean food processors. But who operate West Kingston? Deadman Mackenzie. So you see, right now them two GLP member of parliament constituency, where you have the wharf, that's where them shipment go. Right there. Right there. So we know them thing that Deadman Mackenzie, him could have speak with clarity for that shipment, the kind of constituency, but them silent. I'm friend own the warehouse, Neville Gallimore. You understand? And them just come, you notice them not go to Newport West? No, them don't go to Newport West, which is the bigger wharf. It come on Newport East. And just leave from Newport East, right across Marcus Garvey Drive, up onto Industrial Terrace, right into Neville Gallimore warehouse. And right in a Deadman Mackenzie constituency that. So them know about all of these things. I remember them facilitate them. So if these were detrimental, as where them up, put it out to me, why bring it come to the country? Because you can't facilitate a thing, but then you not fight it, Because you use the country resource to fight something we have UNO institute in Jamaica, gun culture. I don't know if we use it to create jobs for more police, more criminal police, what we are see. Yeah, or if we keep Sleepy Joe, the non-existent Minister of National Security in the post. Yeah, because this just shows that Andrew has no leadership. Because I couldn't be the Prime Minister for a country and my Deputy Prime Minister, who is the Minister of National Security, him can't travel because him in a WikiLeaks and him afraid to touch American soil. We couldn't have him. My leadership authority would have tell me, say, me have to move him. Yeah. And him couldn't stop me from moving because my integrity would allow me to move him without him can even talk to me. Because him don't know if me I do nothing wrong or see me I do nothing wrong. But through Andrew knows the Crab know everything about him. Andrew can't talk to Sleepy Joe Crab, you know. Him cannot. Dead man Mackenzie at a guy from a young boy, we know him carry bone and a rope on him back. And we can ask him a lot of questions as it relates to some dangerous activity, some serious activity, some gruesome activity. 153 elderly women lost them life in a fire that only lasted 7 to 8 minutes and completely destroyed a dwelling for elderly woman. Telephone wires was cut, doors and window was blockaded, and these people met a fiery death. So when we look on the people around the Jamaica Labour Party, we know them a crime producer. Because remember Crab, remember you know a little guy named Sweet Pea who used to work for you, you know. And over him wages him lose him life. Don't Crab? Yeah man. Because Sweet Pea on the box an individual were related to you, you know. Yeah. Through ignorance, because you know him doing work but him not getting paid. Him frustrated. Him never last long. Even him auntie tell him say him a go lose him life. And it did last him life in no time after that incident took place. So we know no operate as some Dan in our place. Me never know voters vote for Dan. And criminals, I think the voter them vote for people to work and build the country on their behalf. Yeah. That's why the people them pay on and pay on well. You understand? But with all these corruption, yeah, and when it hit the high notes, you know, I hear the Prime Minister come out, yeah, and then I'm defense as it relates to the high wage increase for them get. Him said the country not running well. Yes, Andrew, for true. The country wasn't running well all along and still not running well. Because when you coincide the fact that you know highly paid more than everybody else in the region, and on par with some first world country, member of parliament salary, but then we country lose money left, right, and center. All type of class A drugs are turn up our shore and power port. And member a whole heap of illegal gun and ammunition come in. So the country can't run well. The country cannot run well. Because these guns and ammunition did not come into the country to be of any resource to the Jamaica Defense Force, nor the JCF. Then we'd come for Crab and Andrew talk to it. Because one of the two main men, you know. Who all these illegal guns and ammunition come for? So we have to ask the question. My Titan brother just touched a very significant point. Several plane land down in the west. We don't hear Crab say nothing. Crab stay in him hole and hide. Crab not say nothing, you know. Remember plane all burnt out, you know. Then who lift up them people that will come to the plane and get them out of the country? Because them not go through report of entry. Because them never come in through the port of entry. So them couldn't go back through. Me don't know, me I'm going to ask a question. Me know all one time tough tongue a tie up man a road in a pandemic hours at night with a rope. These type of behavior look very, very suspicious and very fishy and spooky. It shows that the man them a deal with drugs on a high proportion and gun on a high proportion illegally. The whole of them mix up. You understand? So the situation now we face Jamaica, you know, is that them have to come out now and institute a all-out war of fear, including all the little toddler them with them little tie gun. But people in Jamaica know about 3D printer and can do these type, are even involved in these type of activity. Very few. So when them people lose them life, them never feel lose them life. Them never feel lose them life, you know. Cause we watch at food operation, you know, at lunch operation, you know, in a New York, you know. I will see much people them confiscate, I will see much guns and drugs and money, but nobody never lose them life. Yeah, but we just go one little place now and man lose them life over 3D printer. So no one know the full detail behind the 3D printer and want to see it do. But think of that, you're not going to be enough to find out the root, you know, and if there's more branch to this. But we want to do execution, because we don't have the police in, you know. When we see we not going down that state killing, not policing, nobody not get arrested again. The chance of you being arrested is about 0.5%. You understand? But the chance of you being murdered is 99.5%. You understand? And the mercy of God, I see we youth them in Jamaica. Yeah, like the car operation. We would say a guy a plan, a magazine, underneath a bag. And we hear Magla come out. Magla, you know, people. Dennis Brooks, you know. Where man of police, when they're way up in the ranks now, I get 12.8 million a year. And I make a mockery of the salary. Say I get free money. Him run out and I say, oh, it dropped from the officer. Yeah? Drop from which officer? The man planted it under the youth them bag. Implanted there. We watch the whole full-scale operation. We see them a move bomb the security them call them on a different mission outside of policing. You understand? They are killers from the death squad. Because it will never run alongside the JSTF, you know. And all I want to know, say, we don't have it there. Because we know the tabloid around here, so. Yeah, we don't the tabloid. We know everything about Richard Stewart from him there. Unspear. He might run the death squad. And it pleased the hierarchy them. Them elevate him. Them elevate him. Right underneath Google 2 in drop now. Right under Google 2 at him take Fitzbailey position, you know. I'm in charge of crime. But him is a murderer. Yeah, he's a guy where him is a vampire, he have to get blood every day. That's why we see the one a day statistic now within the GCF. This guy, Richard Stewart, is a vampire in our society. But him don't drink blood, him drain blood. Because him have to have the man out there run blood, you know, and stain up the land, you know. Everywhere. You them blood are stain the place. And this guy just sit down and enjoy a fat salary when him is a criminal. Crow a criminal. Andrew a criminal. Google 2 a criminal. The whole entourage of them a criminal. But them want to attack people in a society and brandish everybody as criminal. And a murder with citizens. We are called upon the international human rights body, you know. We take a look in at Jamaica. Yeah? And if you don't want some clippings, you can check the platform media them. Yeah? None so more than Mr. Lonesome. You have all of them in the archive. And see where I'm going in Jamaica. I'm sure no, if you put some Scotland Yard investigation on all of them crime scene, as it relates to the video where them have to watch. All of them man they gone to prison. And Iraqis are going to prison too. Them would have incriminate the Iraqis them. Because the fact of the matter you don't hear the Iraqi them come out, yeah, and rubbish them type of activity there as it relates to what the member of the GSCF them are carry out in a society. Them would have to implicate them. Yeah. And real investigation are done. And one thing, you know, that's why I like foreign law. Well, them say 500 years, you know, but if you squeal, we can reduce it to 50. You have a talk, because you say you might have a chance to see about daylight if them give 50 on top of your 30 or 80. You understand? So we don't get a whole heap of information. They're not just like in a James Robertson thing. Les Green, him have the file there. Him say the man forget charge. What big old nasty stinking struck 5 though. Disregard Les Green suggestion. You understand? I don't see which news tabloid bring it out. The Miami Times public it. So we are said to them people here who call themselves minister and who is in charge of this and that. We don't get real. We don't get real. Because you see this net here, it's a closing, you know. The closing pound, you know. Slowly but surely the net are closing. I mean, I'm going to tell you this, you know. When I go look like anytime you see the trawler them go see with the net and them all it up and them lift up the bungler fish. Count of fish. Yeah. The bungler fish. I go lift up one time. Big mama the whole I want to bungle up. You understand? Because I want to carry out criminality. I want to carry out act of humanity. Atrocity. You understand? We want to suppress the people and human rights in the country at all costs. This is what Andrew Holness' third term look like from the outset. And it will not get better until the people act in solidarity. This will continue. Andrew will not relinquish what he has in store for Jamaica. Because it's one thing Andrew practice is evilness, corruption, lies, thievery, and all these type of activity. And you know the whole of them they add up to austerity. Yeah, because people are suffer left, right, and center, lose them home, live on the road. There's nothing in place to support these people. No social security agency that is working in a full scale. That's some little hanky-panky thing. So you see a guy like Bushrat run out, yeah, side of me a Swaby, and I try to project himself. He don't have framework he might put forward. I don't tell you what the policy is, because when me hear from Bushrat, that can't be no policy going forward. That can't be no policy going forward. Can don't address the real issue about mental health as some of these people on the street. And him don't talk about the people that him fully well know say just need help to get back into the swing of thing where life is concerned. The only thing I hear him say that is very, very solid and truth is the fact that most of them speak better than him. Because Rat can't speak, you know, people. Rat cannot speak. Rat squeal. So we just understand from a point of view, say, the whole administration will just pack them back and go, man. Because them have failure in a term 1, you know. And they were double failure in a term 2. And the third term then going to be triple failure, which going to be the worst term for the whole of them, because triple mean 3 and 3 are dead. Them now pass the third term. Them cannot pass the third term, my people. Because before Jah works pass, heaven and earth shall depart. I mean, no Jah work now pass. It will stay right where it to stay and clamp them. Yeah, them can't get through the third term. And them worst term. And my people, this is where we end the show this afternoon. You know, it's a pleasure being here. alongside Mystic Sensation. You don't know? Yeah, that's how we do it.
All right, and tell them later will be greater, because you know as we said, we always keep the better subjects right for later for the 7 p.m. show. So roll out, people, at 7 p.m. Jamaica time. All right, so we'll be back here later. As I said, we'll be greater. People, walk good. Love you. I'm out. Melting pot. Big up yourself.
Blessings, my brother. As usual, enough respect.
All right.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right stand that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.